Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are back with a new season, baby. Season 9. Season 9. And what a way to start it off. Today, I just got some good news. We have hit our 11,000 subscriber today. Make some noise. Make some noise. 11K in 4 years. Actually, I was doing this for 5 years, but I didn't get onto YouTube until the second year. So 11,000, 4 years. Great accomplishment, great accomplishment, great accomplishment. So today we have a very special guest. This basketball head is a New York City legend. First of all, let me start this off right. Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I am your host, Glenn Poole Harding. And tonight, we have a very special guest. This basketball head is a New York City legend who attended Harren High School in Manhattan. He was a first-team All-City honor in his junior and senior years to become a top 15 player in the country, making him second-team All-American. This basketball head will also become a playground legend, playing against some of the best ball players coming up during his era in New York City. After being highly recruited, this basketball head chose to attend Wichita State University. At Wichita State, he was a 3-time all-conference pick in 1979 and honorable mention AP All-American. This basketball head amassed 1,907 career points and 1,027 rebounds over 4 seasons from 1975 to 1979. This basketball head quickly became a fan favorite in Wichita after helping lead the Shockers to the 1976 Missouri Valley Conference title and a spot in the NCAA tournament. The 6'5" forward was MVC Newcomer of the Year in 1976, which was America's bicentennial year. Salute. He went on to earn all-conference honors in each of the next 3 seasons. First team in 1977 and 1979, and second team in 1978. This basketball head averaged 17.3 points and 9.3 rebounds for his career, including 22 points and 10 boards as a senior. This basketball head shot an incredible 52% from the field. Wow. That is incredible. After an amazing college career, he was selected in the 3rd round of the 1979 NBA draft by the Golden State Warriors during the 1979-80 season. He also played in the CBA for a few years as well. This basketball head was inducted into the Shockers Sports Hall of Fame in 1986 and still ranks 3rd in total rebounds and 7th in scoring in school's history. Or maybe he's 5th right about now, but we'll ask him when he joins the show. In his own youth, this basketball head benefited from being mentored and decided to create his own mentoring program called You Jump Incorporated. So, this is what me and this man have in common besides being 6'5" and from New York City. I also have a mentor program, so I'll definitely connect with him on this one. Without further ado, Hubby, welcome to the show. New York City legend and Wichita State University Hall of Fame inductee, Lynbert Cheese Johnson.
Y'all ready? Yeah. You have just now into the world of chaos, where everybody goes hard. Come on, go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard, or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard, go hard. East Coast, go hard. West Coast, go hard. Midwest, go hard. Dirty, dirty. Hurry up, everybody, get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
What's happening? What's happening, Cheese? There you go. There you go. Look at that. That's that famous smile right there. Welcome to the show, Cheese Johnson. How you doing, brother?
Hey, it's a pleasure being here. Thanks for having me on.
Nah, man. Listen, the honor's all mine. So many people have talked about you over the years of me having a show. Even when I tell them all the amazing people who I had on the show, they always ask me, you still ain't get Cheese Johnson on the show? You still ain't get Cheese Johnson on the show? And we talk about, Charlie Scott, Kenny Anderson, Ross Strickland, Derek Chivas, Rolando Blackman, Jerry Ice Reynolds, you name them. They all been on the show. And people still ask, when are you getting Cheese Johnson on the show? Finally, you're here, brother. Salute.
Hey, thank you much for having me too. And all those guys that you just mentioned, them my guys.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure, man. So I want to jump right into this, right? Because you have a lot of people watching. You have people that know some of your history, don't know some of the integral parts of what it took for you to get to where you was at to this day, and all the hard work that you put in. And I think it's very important that we kind of teach the youth and all those people who are informed about your career. And also, we can read all the articles. We can read books that's written about you in the future, but nothing's like coming from you, right? And getting your perspective on it. So I want to jump right into this, man, and ask you, who introduced you to the game?
Well, growing up in Harlem, that's what a lot of people did back in the day. We played a lot of basketball. We hardly ate, but we played basketball because that was the thing to do, back in the day. That's where everybody would come and watch you. So at the age of 12, I really took note in terms of getting publicity around the neighborhood and things like that. So I really started at 12, and then I worked my way up for that. When I was 12 years old, I used to play with the older guys, and then I joined a team, which is called the Cavaliers. And that was stacked with great neighborhood players where we used to go in different boroughs, Bronx, Queens, and we used to win a lot of tournaments. So things of that gave you publicity, around the city. And I just took it from there and went from there. And then, another thing that people don't understand, it's an opportunity to get a free education if you do it right. And that's my main thing. And that's what guys always used to tell me in terms of getting a free education, because my parents couldn't afford to send me to school. So I might as well use the tool that could get me in school, and that was basketball.
Yeah, man. Like, we have this discussion all the time about playing with the older guys because those were our trainers, right? We didn't have or couldn't afford, individual workouts with guys, and we didn't get free mentorship from someone who was out in the park just running drills. We had to get those skills from the older guys, and it was kind of passed down to us, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely from the older guys. From the veterans, they taught you how to play basketball. And during my era, we had great coaches. Not like today where people think they are a good coach, but back in the day, we had great coaches that taught you the fundamental of basketball. And that would help me to develop into the player, I was back then.
Where exactly are you from in Harlem? Let the people in Harlem know where you from, brother. Like, because look, Harlem is a small neighborhood and everybody know each other, but it's specific blocks and specific sides. You got the west side, the east side, right? You got Spanish Harlem, right? You got the regular Harlem. So what block were you from?
Okay, I was born and raised on 147th Street between Broadway and Amsterdam. But the thing about that, we used to go to 8th Avenue, 7th Avenue, Lenox Avenue, Edgecombe. You know, we just go around. That's why I said from Harlem, we go in different neighborhoods, you know, and play basketball. But I was born and raised on 147th Street between Broadway and Amsterdam, and they call that Sugar Hill.
Sugar Hill, like the record company and like the movie. That's right. That's right.
They call it Sugar Hill.
That's right. Now, like let's go back in the time machine, right? Take me to the scene back in New York City, like how the streets was and how did basketball play a part in protecting you from those elements.
Yeah. Back in the day, growing up, it was kind of rough. You know, it was filled with with drugs and crime and robberies, you know, what have you. That's what the elements was back then. And that's where sports helped me and help a lot of other guys that play sports to keep away from trouble. And that was our one thing, you know, like I said, the man upstairs was definitely looking out for us to deter us from going the other way. Even though we know a lot of people that was involved in that, and those same people did not want you to become, you know, one of them, you know, so they made sure that they kept you on the straight and narrow path.
Listen, you know I had to do it to him, Ayatollah. We got our first text of the night. These texts, if you don't know, these are positive texts. This is something that keeps the audience engaged. And if this is your first time watching Basketball Heads, please subscribe to the channel and help us grow. This is how we do it on here so we can keep all these legends and greats coming on. And you mentioned something, right? Right? The local gangster or the local drug dealer, right? They knew you was a ball player, right? And it was a separation. It was like, yo, Cheese, yo, keep doing your thing in the basketball court. They didn't try to reel you in to what they were doing.
Exactly, right? Exactly. You know, and that was like, you know, back in the day, we always had those parents that look after kids, made sure the kids never got in trouble. That was the same thing that people that was selling drugs did too. They made sure that you stay, you know, go to school and do the right thing, because they want you to get out of their situation like that the best way possible.
It was a village back then.
Oh yeah, no question. And on top of that, my parents, they were from Jamaica, so they ain't played too many games. You know what I'm saying? That between my parents and the neighborhood, you couldn't help but to go to school and do the right thing.
Yeah, man. Salute to my guy Ayatollah Beats. Definitely #1 basketball head, always on the check-in. Appreciate you, brother. He's checking in all the way from Portland, Oregon. My guy Ron McCants. I went to college with my guy Ron McCants. He's from Harlem as well. He said, "Peace, Cheese. I used to play pickleball with you behind PS 153 with Dwayne Ivory."
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Wayne Cook and
Yes.
I Rick. He said there was some serious pickup games back then in the early and mid 80s.
Right. There was some good games, throwing elbows and everything.
Yeah.
And then go drink a Mountain Dew after.
That's right. And my guy Rob was always Diesel, so I know y'all had to punish him, you know. So definitely salute to you, Ron. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Nah, no doubt. He's always one that always bring your name up, man. So when did you get the name Cheese? And when did it kind of stick?
Well, I have that nickname since I was 12. And it's funny, it's two things. People think it comes from my first name, which is Lynbert, you know, so that's where the cheese come in, but it didn't come through that. A friend of mine from around our block, Alton Gibson, he brought the first name up to Cheese, because every time I used to make a move and I embarrassed the opponent, I started smiling because it was funny. You know, so from that day on, I had that since I was 12 years old. Growing up, everywhere I go, that name is stuck. To this day, it still sticks. Everybody don't know my government name.
I didn't even know your name until we started doing, getting ready for the show.
So it's not, and you know the funny thing, the name was so popular. My son even called me Cheese instead of Dad sometimes.
Wow.
And that's the funny thing, because he heard so many people growing up, you know, call me Cheese. So that's how that goes. I hope he's watching too.
Yeah, and it followed you all the way to college. Look at that smile right there. Right? Look at that. Classic right there.
That was the good old days too.
Yeah.
When I had an afro.
That was dope. That was dope right there. Paul Scurry's in the building. Family to the Scurry brothers. Yes,
okay,
yes.
Listen, the Scurry brothers. Hey, I used to play with the teams from Brooklyn also, and the Scurry brothers, about 35 of them. But all of them, you know, when I used to come to Brooklyn, they always looked after me. Between the Scurry brothers, you know, Vinnie Johnson, you know, Sam Worthing. Then we have the coach, Lester Roberts.
Yep.
You know, I played on the team with Bernard King and Albert King. You know, I knew of World Be Free, Fly Williams, you know. So Brooklyn was, you know, like I said, we used to just go everywhere. And everywhere that we went to play, people knew of you, so they wouldn't let anything, you know, happen to you.
Yo, Cheese, you one of the few, brother. How come guys from uptown never come down to Brooklyn to play? Like, Brooklyn guys have to go everywhere to play. The uptown guys, a lot of them guys don't come down to Brooklyn to play.
Hey, a lot of them guys scared to go to Brooklyn. But, you know, for me, that's the history. But for me, like I say, every time I was, the Brooklyn guys are my best buddies. Matter of fact, I was supposed to. I went up there this summer, you know, to fly with Fly Williams and Ice and Sam Worthing and things like that. But I got overheated and I could not go. But Brooklyn is one of the toughest area to play. If you play against a team from Brooklyn, you know they're going to bring it. So you might as well just set your mind, you know, for a tough game. That's why I respect Brooklyn.
My guy, Paul Kurtz said they did. Not a lot of them. Not during my era. You know what I'm saying? And my guy CK from upstate. What up, CK? He said, you know, what is that about? Listen, he just said it. A lot of them had it in their mind. If they go to Brooklyn and win, they wasn't gonna get back home.
Exactly. Right. That was it.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, but like I said, hey, I knew a lot of like Jeff Houston. I know a lot of guys from George Johnson, you know, that played at St. John's and things of that nature. So I could go in any borough, you know, myself and play. I'm talking about Queens and the Bronx, you know, especially, you know, Manhattan. So I was at ease in terms of where I had, you know, because everybody liked talent.
Listen, talent wins over the crowd no matter where you.
Exactly. They said we going to see, because we played in St. John's rec.
Yeah.
You know, we did that. Me and I was on the team with Vinnie Johnson and Russell Sanders. You know, I don't know if you remember him, but you know, those my guys there. To this day, you know, we still Ricky Free, you know, that went to graduate from Columbia University. Right. You know what I mean? I had a bunch of guys from Brooklyn, you know, that I played with.
Yeah, but with all this talent, man, you ended up in a school called Harren High School. And I had to call you today. I'm like, yo, what the hell is a Harren? I've been living in New York all these years. I've never heard of that school. How did you end up there with all these basketball schools in New York City? Okay,
so this is how I ended up at Harren. So our feeder school, junior high school, is State 164. Mm-hmm. So the feeder school was George Washington, and every day at George Washington, they was fighting every day. So I said, I can't go to a school where, you know, you're not learning and everything you have to fight. I mean, when I say every day, it was every day.
It was tough during those days.
Yeah, it was, you know. And then the next school that I tried to get in that was in the district, you know, was Brandeis and Franklin, which is all the way on the east side. And that was too much to take a train and a bus to go to school like every day. That was too much for me. So all the guys that went to Stitt, they start going to Harren, which is an all-boys school. So I said, I'm going down to Harren too. You know, Ernest Ivory, he's the one the first one that started there. Then everybody started going to Harren, even though, you know, like I said again, it's an all-boys school. People, how you go to all-boys school? I said, that wasn't the problem because everywhere we played, we had their cheerleaders. Hey, that's just how it worked, you know. As a matter of fact, you know, one of the guys that went to our school also, you know, is Keith Sweat. Everybody know him as a singer. You know, he used to try to play basketball. We used to say, nah. You know, but that's how I wind up going to Harren. And my 3 years that I played, every year, we almost won 25, you know, games, you know, each year. My biggest accomplishment my first year, my sophomore year, when we played DeWitt Clinton in the championship game, and that's when Steve Shepard and Butch Lee and Kid Malcolm and everybody was on that team. And the funny thing, because me and Steve always talk about it, they thought they was going to play Jackson because we was losing by 15 points with 2 minutes to go, and we came back and won that game. And that's another tool of life. That's why I tell all the kids that's in my program, when things is dark, don't ever give up until the end, because you never know how things will change. So that's my philosophy of life, you know, and I can relate that to my kids. But it was pretty good.
You guys is down the block from Paul Memorial as well?
Matter of fact, not down the block. We was across the street. So, I mean, it's literally across the street, like about 20 steps. But they ain't never want to play Harren because, like I said, we was on a roll, and that was like a Catholic school. Because Paul Memorial, that's where Kareem Jabbar went, you know, and Len Elmore went, and they was stuffed back in that days there. So we used to just play against them like we had a little park. And we used to play against the players from Paul Memorial.
Mike Barnes said, Glenn, can you ask Chief Johnson if he remembers a cat by the name of Thaddeus Salters from Harlem?
Oh yeah, definitely. Hey, listen, it's not too many people that I don't know from Harlem. Especially if you could play. If you could play, you know, because like I said, I'm a historian. You know, guys before me, I always watch them and talk about them. And guys after me, the same thing. That's why, you know, it's a good relationship every time I go back, you know, to Harlem.
CK said, was Eddie Moss at Power then?
No, I don't recall that name. Mm-mm.
How good was Butch Lee?
Butch was good. Matter of fact, I was from 147th Street, and he was like from 150th down the hill, and he was pretty good. Matter of fact, I almost went to Marquette because the Butch was there, you know, Bernard Toon was there, and then Al McGuire, he's from New York too, the coach.
Right.
And at the time, that was the avenue for New York players to go to where the New York coaches was at. So, but Butch was pretty good. You know, there's so many great players that that come out of, you know, New York City alone. We didn't have no AAU team, but one thing that we had in the summertime, we was to get busy against each other. The parks would be crowded. I mean, it's crazy. And you better be able to play, because if you can't play, the fans are going to talk about you.
And look, it was a rite of passage. I say this so many times, right? If you came to the park and you was new to the park, you had to work your way to get on the court. It probably take you a few weeks for you to get on the court, right? And then you had to be able to win and stay on the court. If you didn't win and stay on the court, you might not ever get back on the court unless you was elite. You lost and somebody made sure they held the spot for you who had next.
Right. No, you're exactly right. And that's where the building of one's heart, because you don't want to lose, because you got to wait a long time before you play again. Sometimes I see people, they lose, they just go to another park, you know what I mean? Because they know they ain't getting picked, you know, to play in the next game. But, you know, that's where that heart comes from. If you got heart of lion, you know, and you don't want to lose, you're going to play hard. And that's what helps you.
That's a fact. Ron McCann said, I used to watch you play against Carlton Green and now
Oh.
Joe Wallace in the Rucker.
Oh, no. Hey, Carlton Green, he's the only guy out of my career that he averaged 41 points in high school. He came in Harren because he went to George Washington. He came in before the game, said, I'm going to get 40. This is before the game. He wound up getting 41. That year, he averaged like 38.
He was really that good.
Listen, and like I said,
I had him on the show and he talked about it, but I like to hear it from other people.
Hey, Moto, he could give you buckets, like I say, like it was enough. Between him and Joe Hammond, those two guys, they could give you buckets, though. So let's be ready to play when you go on the court. And Nigel, he was
no 3-point line.
No 3-point line. You had to get it. You had to earn it. Back then. And Nigel, he was good too. Nice, a nice kid. He was good too. I used to watch him play, also. We had a lot of good players, Gary Springer, Artie Green, Steve Burke, them my guys, Ricky Burton, yeah. They all used to get down like that. So it's pretty good.
Actually, Ricky Burton is on the show. He said he is Uncle Cheese down to my kids who enjoy him over the summer. Great player, better person.
Yeah, that's my man there, Rick. Matter of fact, I missed him this summer, the family, but I'll be back. He got great kids, and he's the guy. Majority, all the guys.
I gotta get him on the show then. That's
that's easy. He's watching right now, so he'll call you up. You know what I mean? And say he was one of the guys. Like I said, I used to go everywhere. He was one of the good players that come out of Mount Vernon. You had Ray Williams, Gus Williams, Scooter McCray, Rodney McCray. That at that time, Mount Vernon High was one of the best teams in the country, and he was on that team.
Wow, listen, you got my guy Mike Barnes, right? My guy Mike Barnes writes some of the greatest commentary in my comments, better than anybody, and they be full pages, and he schools me to a lot of the history that's going on, right? So salute to Mike Barnes joining the show. He rarely joins. He usually watches after I finish broadcasting. He said, Glenn, can you ask? He said, can you ask Glenn? Come on, can you ask Cheese if Greg McNair, Greg Statton, and etc. played for Jackson when Harren played in those years? All
of them. Greg McNair, he was the shake and bake and then shoot a 30-foot jumper. They had Hines, God bless him, he passed away, but they had the tallest team in the PSL. Everybody seemed like they were 6'8", except for Greg. And all of them went on Stan Wright. He went on to play with Rhode Island, and me and him still stay in contact. But every time, I run into a player from Queens that went to Jackson, they said the same thing. We thought we had y'all. And to this day. And it's
wow.
And like I said, we just go everywhere, to play. And that was one of the highlights. And that's when we played Butch Lee and Steve Shepard at the Garden for the city championship. We wound up losing by 3 points.
All right. We talking about all these players, right? Because, this is the question about to come up, right? Right? Like, who was the guy who asked you, Bus, that you started to get your recognition? It's like, okay, nah, he got a real one. And this guy's for real. This guy, we got to take this guy Cheese serious. Who asked that you bust that time, if you can remember?
No, you know what? I can't remember who did I play great against because, back in the day, everybody had a stacked team. So it wasn't like that one individual that I could say that, I got busy against that player because there was so many great teams. But I can tell you one thing. When I was in college, when your heart stopped pumping, when we had to play Magic Johnson, which is a Hall of Famer, Larry Bird, another Hall of Famer, Maurice Cheeks, another Hall of Famer, Reggie Theus, another Hall of Famer. Those players, Mike Glenn, he played with the Knicks for about 10 years.
Yep.
Heck of a jump shooter. In my era, I played against more NBA Hall of Famers than I could think about, and everybody else. And Mark Aguirre,
Mm.
You know, he was that department. Him and my man Gary Houston. You know, I played against them all, and to this day, when you play against those type players, and they know you to this day, that means you did something.
Man.
And so you have to bring your game. And that's where that New York come out of you. You ain't gonna stand back and he could play. So what I'm gonna do, just stand back and watch him, or I'm gonna try to get busy also. And that's what happened with all them great players. Like I said, if you call Lynbert right now, he said tell Cheese, Magic, say all of them know that the work that I put in, against those players.
Man, that's legendary right there, man. That's legendary. Who were some of the other schools that was recruiting you besides Wichita State?
Okay, so coming out of high school, I was like top 15 in the country in terms of players. So my four that I really was considered was like I said, Marquette, Cincinnati, Dayton, St. John's was one of them too. But the reason that I chose Wichita State at the time, we had a lot of players from New York on the team, Chicago on the team. So it was like a bond. I don't know, Len Emma, his brother, Bob Elmore, excuse me. He led the nation in rebounds. I had my man Calvin Bruton, and when we played Michigan, with Ricky Green and Phil Hubbard, he was in it. And he used to pass me, but I said, Cheese, go ahead and get him. I said, all right. And I was a freshman, and he was a senior, but those is the guys that, that I played against, throughout my career. And to this day, like I say, they know, who I am, and I know who they are, and that's respect.
Man, how was your transition going into Wichita State on and off the court, and when did you know you picked the right school?
Okay, that's that. Now, listen, I'm just to be honest. So my freshman year, even though those guys was on the team, my freshman year, I got homesick. From coming from New York City, where the population about 12 million, and coming to Wichita, where at the time the population was about 300,000. So it was a transition. I went home 5 times. I told the coach all kinds of stories why I had to go home until, I went home, and the guys that I normally hang out with, they was all working. I was just in the house. So something dawned on me and said, like I said before, my parents couldn't afford to send me to college. So, and I had the opportunity to get a free education. And that's why I took full advantage. So I went back, to Wichita, and I graduated. And it's a good thing. I'm in Wichita right now. The people here is so kind to me and to all, majority of former players. It just feel like home. From New York, where people, you say hi, they just say hey with their head. But down here, they really greet you, and they really look out, for you, going forward. So Wichita, it was a great decision, because coming out of the high school, who would think I would be in Wichita, Kansas right now, to this day? But that's how life goes. You never predict what's gonna happen. You hope it goes the way you plan, but sometimes it just don't go. God's work to send you where you need to go. And that's where I'm at, to this day.
And we talked about this off camera about guys who jump in the transfer portal and go from school to school to school and don't really have a place that's going to celebrate them once they leave school, right? Or a place that they could call home, like you were able to do. Let's talk to the younger generation about the importance of staying at a school and building a family there, type atmosphere for themselves before they even graduate.
Right. So, my conversation with that is, stay at the school. You know what I mean? Don't try to follow everybody else and want to go get this NIL stuff, because you're not developing any type of relationship with that university. Because like I said, basketball, you can play sports till you're about 30, but life is a long journey after that. So if you're building a relationship, with either alumni or just people in the neighborhood, in the community, that'll take you a long, long way. Because I know a lot of guys that that's just I can't say lost, but they messed up their resources, going forward, because you never know who you could meet on campus or in the community. So that's why I tell all the guys, let's take your time. Life is a long way. You know what I mean? So if you get to establishment or university where you can meet the people, meet people and be friendly with people and they friendly back, that's a relationship. So, I wouldn't, recommend people just go to school. You got guys like 28 years old still in college. I'm gonna go to the NBA or NFL or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, if you're 28, what you gonna do when you're 29? You don't have no resources, and today's living and life is like, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
And who knows you?
Who knows you? Right.
There you go, because you could be a grandfather in the locker room, 28 years old, with grandkids, smoking a cigar at halftime, talking about
telling them all war stories, you know what I mean? So, you just got to take full advantage of it. I don't know, the NCAA, they I don't know. They might have, like you said, we were talking.
2 years. 2 years.
Yeah, I would think a player to get that NIL money, they at least have to be at that university for 2 years, because after 2 years, you can see either you're worth the money or you're not worth the money. Yeah,
give you half, and then you finish out the rest that other year, you get the other half.
Exactly.
Right?
You have to do you have to set some kind of a border, for these kids. I mean, you got parents that, we can't go there because there ain't enough money. We can't do that. But that's hurting the kid, because what example are you sending, your child, in terms of trying to better themselves, just for $1? All money ain't good money.
Listen, and they don't talk about the kids who are stuck in the transfer portal. At least 60%, 70% of the kids stuck in the transfer portal and lose their scholarship and don't have no place to go.
Don't have nowhere to go. Then you got to turn and be all park player. That don't work. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like, the parents have to, really understand the value of sports, which they don't. You know what I mean? But if you have parents that do, this how you push your child to become a better person, on top of that, better community. It's just like my son, he was top 10 coming out of the country, and I told the kids this story, every time I say it. He went to any school he wanted for free. Okay. So as he was maturing and growing up, we made sure that he had his studies in order, so in order to go to college, you have to do the school work. If you can't do school, how you expect to stay in college? So he wound up graduating at Auburn University, which is a good degree, to have, and he met a lot of good people, there.
No doubt. Another good guy, friend of yours, Fred Disco Brown. Tell Cheese I said what's up. A true legend, New York City great. Nothing but love and respect to my longtime friend.
Hey, Fred, hey, God bless you too. I'm sorry I missed you this summer, and I'll see you next summer. And keep on doing what you're doing in the community. It's really, really important. Artie will be up there soon, and Gary will be up there tomorrow, Gary Springer. So get in contact with them guys and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Black 115 said, respect, sir. Some relative play at Harren with Cheese, Glenn Jones, Dennis Garvin, and Mike Dawson.
And all them guys, Glenn is still alive. Mike and Dennis, they passed, but they was good guys. They was from the Foster Project. And if you know anything about Kingdom and Foster Project, it's kind of rough down there. But like I said, they looked after me too, being that we was on the same high school team. And them guys is like super. And I'm just blessed because I had like good people in my life. That's why I'm able to deliver messages to other, other folks. And I always give harmonies to people that was in front of me.
No doubt. King Towers definitely. My tournament is held in Brevard.
I played
Housing,
in
right?
there too.
Yeah, and it's set up just like King Dome, right?
I thought it was the same thing. I said, "Oh, I'm in Brooklyn though."
Yep. So definitely. When we talking about some of the guys that you came up with, right? We just want to keep paying homage, right? A name that always comes up, who we never got a chance to mention, right? Like two names I want to talk about. Vinnie Johnson, the microwave, who's a very successful multi-millionaire right now.
Hey, that's my guy there, bro.
Right?
Every
And
time, and you know, not to interrupt you, but
you got
these guys used to always come around, you know, where I lived at Humphrey. Said we just stand on the corner. People said, "Is that's Vinnie Johnson?" That's when he won the championship.
right.
He said, "That's Ray Williams right there." Or that's Sam Worthing, that's Gary Springer, Steve Burke. I said they used to always come around 147th Street, and we used to be right on the corner, just laughing, having jokes, and doing things of that nature. But you know, Vinny, that was a man. Matter of fact, he was on the cover of see, and this is what I tell people: your resources is really, really important.
Yeah.
To this day, he does work in Florida and Detroit. The man is worth about $600 million.
That's right.
When he knew basketball to meet these type people, and that's what you have to do. Don't let that basketball use you.
Listen, we going because sometimes you got to put the picture, right? You got to let people see it for real, right?
There you go. That's
there you go, right there.
BJ.
There you go, right there. The microwave. I actually played with his brother Eric Johnson in the Empire State Games. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my man Vinny, though. And we always beat FDR in the play. He said, we did too.
We did too. We did. We just smack on him too. Yeah.
Hey, but he always got his 25, though.
Oh, him and his brother, they were scorers, man. They were scorers.
He was between him and the King brothers.
Yes.
Albert and Bernard, same thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about Jeff Houston? Let's talk about Jeff Houston real quick.
Okay, so Jeff, he came out the same year that I came out, and he went to Texas A&M, and he could fill it up. He could fill a left-handed. Matter of fact, I seen him last summer. He's now living in Florida. He's looking good, like he could still play and all that. But Jeff was really good. It was him. He was on the team with I don't know if you remember Ty Larson and Curtis.
Yeah.
And Curtis. You remember Curtis?
What's the last name?
Curtis. He went to K-State. I'm throwing the black eyes too many names in my. But Curtis Redding.
Curtis Redding. Yes.
And all them play together, and all them wind up going to Kansas State.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get Jeff on the show, man. He's been talked about a lot. My guy Todd Rivero said, ask him about his pickup games in the battlegrounds with Steve Barrett, Randy Workhouse, ST, aka Black, Nissan, Nutter Butter, and Kendall Ward.
Hey, the battlegrounds, we used to walk to the battleground, but that's where, you had Kareem Jabbar used to play in there. Charlie Scott used to play in there. Lonnie Robinson, my man Stan Brown, David Peters, they played in there. That Choo Choo, that was a park. What's the name of the park? The Battlegrounds. Because you had to go in there and start playing. You know what I'm saying? It's right there on Amsterdam Avenue, 152nd Street, 151st. Yeah, Battlegrounds is tough.
Yeah, Battlegrounds is always going up.
Bernard Wrench down there.
Yeah. He said, did you play in a 1973 City Classic game between the Catholic School and the PSCL featuring cats like Bernard Retcher, Monte Christie, Jeff Houston, Canarsie, Bobby Willis, James Monroe?
Yeah, I had to play.
Monte Christie, yeah.
I had to play. I'm one of the top players in the city back then. I was all over the place. And another thing, when I found out, I realized I could play a little bit, is when I went to 5-star with Garfinkel. I went twice. And I was like, this where everybody going? Because me and I don't know if you remember Bill Willoughby.
Right. Yes.
So So he got drafted right out of high school. But I went back the second time and I got MVP for the 5-star, camp. And all the coaches used to be there. Every single coach in the country used to be there. And that was the competition. So like I say, when you have that heart again, you always want to play good against the best. And they was there. And the only way, I'm talking about 5-star camp. That's where Michael Jordan, LeBron.
Yeah. Everybody knows. Legendary. Yeah.
You had Patrick Ewing, you had to get invited to go. It wasn't just, you could just come in there. So the runs there was pretty good, 5-star camp.
I met Bill Willoughby when I attended Fairleigh Dickinson University. He used to come over to the gym and run with us. And, I was just so amazed at this guy. My coach would say, you know who that is, right? And we were young. We didn't know. But, man, his legs was huge, and he could jump so high at that age.
Matter of fact, I talked to him last week. These guys, I still stay in contact with him.
Wow.
He living in Philly.
Wow.
Right now. I posted I met up with him, before I had to leave New York. But these guys, like Edgar Jones, they got all kind of, players that, like I said, I'm familiar with.
Nah, this is dope. Said Harry Boykin said, Big Cheese, my man. Don't forget the course at 147th Street. I used to watch y'all play learning the game. The one day y'all said, Shorty, you ready to play?
hey, Harry used to come to all of our games, and my other man, Tracy Allen. And them two guys, to this day, them guys is good. They live in Richmond, Virginia. And like I say, I still stay in contact, with those guys because they good, honorable, citizens. The Boykins, all the Boykins and all the Allens, they great people. Matter of fact, Tracy Allen, he know more about me than anybody because he living in the next building, and we used to go out. He used to be the first one outside dressed, go to Bentley's and go to the Red Parrot. He used to do all of that.
Bentley's, Red Parrot. What? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We had fun back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Even though I was too young to get in some places, I was tall, so they let me in anyway. But life is pretty good.
Yeah. Eric Wilcox says Bill Willoughby would be the only person to block Kareem Scott Hook.
And he's absolutely correct. I was watching that game because that's when he was playing with Houston. And Poole, but one thing when he got to the NBA, because when we was in high school, he used to be, he played in with me in the tournament 139th Street. So he used to be able to dribble the ball, shoot the ball, pass the ball. But when he got to the NBA, they just turned him into a power forward. Where we just checked the big guy. His game didn't really develop because they didn't let him develop. So that's why, you have to work on your own skills. That's how I learned how to rebound. They don't want to pass me the ball. I said, I go get it, myself. And I know how to dribble it, myself. That's why, at 6'6", I got 1,000 rebounds at Wichita State. You know what I'm saying? And you don't see that too often, but I learned that skill. I don't have to wait on, somebody to pass me the ball.
Man, listen, you're right. He said, Lionel Williams said, Glenn, these kids don't know how to party. Talk to them. Hey, listen, Bentley's was the time, baby. We just didn't sit around and smoke hookah all day and listen to music. We was dancing with the ladies.
Man, listen, hey, everybody, if listen, I tell everybody in the 70s, if you didn't go to Bentley, you ain't going nowhere. I'm talking about Jay-Z used to come in there, Mark Breland used to come in there. I used to bring everybody down there that I knew in sports. It was like a landmark.
The 90s was it, baby. 90s definitely.
The Red Parrot, too.
That's a fact.
The Red Parrot. See, and I knew those owners. So I used to I didn't have to wait on no line now.
Hey, listen, that was it. Especially when it's tall, you had the ball player look, and especially if the Knicks was playing that night, you just tell them, listen, you playing against the Knicks, we going right in.
But those are good old days. Reminiscing is really healthy. Especially when you have good people to this day. That's alive, and you could just cherish that moments.
So let's continue to talk about Wichita State, right? When did you know that Wichita State was a good fit for you on the court and appealed to your style of play?
After my freshman year, because my freshman year, that's when we went to the tournament. That's when we lost to in the first round. We lost to Michigan. That's when they had Ricky Green and Phil Hubbard and all them other guys. So I knew from there, because my freshman year I averaged like 12 points. I said, oh, I could get buckets here. So my freshman year was 12. My sophomore year was 17. My junior year was 19, and my senior year was 22. Hey, the funniest story, my dad and my mom came down for my senior year, and I ain't never experienced something like that. So, you remember the cheese in the package?
Oh yeah.
Okay, listen. When they announced my name, that whole court was full with cheese.
Wow.
I said, hey, I picked the right place. I was hungry too, so I went up, and ate a slice of that cheese. But that was crazy because you know how big the court is.
Yeah.
It was all over. They couldn't start the game.
Wow.
Until I stopped. And then
anybody got a picture of that? I wish somebody had. If you can find out if somebody got a picture of that.
Ryan might know. I don't know. But
Ryan, try to find that picture and send it to me if you can.
Hey, but it was crazy because back in the day, Wichita basketball was a thing in town, and we used to have like standing room only crowds, and that was like more than 10,000 people every game. So I knew. From having all those people, it's like playing in the Rucker and the tournaments. I see my man Brad Johnson. Hey Brad, I ain't forget about you in the cellar. That was the guy. That was my man, the movie star Brad. And to this day, again, he living in Miami now. Him, Mike Pryor, and my man Courtney. So. Brad was the guy down at the cellar. Everybody went to the cellar too. That's where a lot of people got started there in the cellar between Brad and his dad. His dad was super cool. You know what I mean? So we had a lot of fun, you know what I'm saying, back then. And like I said, those people is a blessing because to this day I still stay in contact with them.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Man, listen, let's talk about the game. Do you remember the exact game that got your career going when you knew I have arrived and this is the place that they're gonna remember me forever?
Yeah, it was that Michigan game. It was that Michigan game, and then when we play against UNLV, that's when they had Reggie Theus. And those 4 teams out of my 4 years, every team that we played and beat, they went to the final game of the NCAA tournament. And the funniest thing, the good games when we beat Al McGuire at Marquette, and that was his last home game.
Wow.
But they wind up that same year winning the whole championship for NCAA tournament. But it's a lot of great games. That's what I said. My track record, like I mentioned, the 7 NBA Hall of Famers that I had the pleasure, to play against. And like I said, and they know my name like they show.
That's right. And look, we always say, people like, it's about who you know not, it's about who know you.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
That's the key right there.
And the funny thing, basketball, it carries you. I could go to any city right now and walk in the gym and I know someone, that played the play before, or I know someone when my son played. Reggie Williams from Georgetown. That's another one of my guys. And my main man, I got 3 of them that played at Wichita State: Xavier McDaniel, Cliff Livingston, Antoine Carr, Aubrey Sherrod. Them my guys. Them my guys. We speak on a regular, again to this day. Xavier, he's my son's godfather. The wild man.
Listen, we love him in New York. He earned. You know, we know he came from Seattle, but when he came to New York, we embraced him and he embraced us. So salute to Xavier McDaniel. And he was the first guy that I told you I kind of connected with Wichita State because again, I as we go along with this history, and when I started this platform, I started to do my due diligence and realize, damn, if I don't know about this history the way this is, and I'm of my age, just imagine how many other people don't know. And if we the mecca of basketball throughout the world, we should know, people should know about our players from New York City. It should be a platform for people to go to so they can learn about the history of New York City basketball. So everybody who this is your first time on Basketball Heads, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when these shows are appearing and you can keep up and what's going on in New York City.
Right. Hey, so another two players that went, you remember Dave Stallworth?
Yes.
He went to Wichita State.
Wow.
And Nate Bowman. And when I was 12 years old, I used to watch his card, Dave Stallworth, when he was playing with the Knicks.
Whoa.
Right. Whereas, you know, at 12 years old, you got about 25 jobs to get, you had
your newspaper route, you wash cars, shine shoes, you did whatever you can to get a couple of dollars in your pocket.
And that's what I did. So he came in, the guy said, that's Dave Stallworth. And to this day, they have a big statue of him, outside, and that's well deserved, for him. God bless him.
No doubt. Hopefully one day they have your statue out there too, brother.
Thank you, brother, my man.
Nah, for sure. Now, in 1976, you won Newcomer of the Year, your freshman year, and you led your team to the NCAA tournament. Like, what was that feeling like, knowing that a kid from New York could go out to the Midwest and actually carry his team to the NCAA tournament and get national recognition?
Hey, that recognition was something special. Hey, the craziest thing that I ain't never see this, but we had like a charter plane. We had the police in front of the bus. I thought I was a rock star. I had a suit jacket on. You couldn't tell me nothing. But I say, hey, so this what this is, huh? But that was one of my best time. But now, these kids right now, they take planes like they ain't anything, So it's pretty good.
No doubt, man. Great times, man. You shot a astounding 52% from the field, which is kind of crazy at any position. 1977, 1979, you were all MVC. What happened in 1978 when you made second team?
I don't know, because I don't know how you can make second team and average 19 points and 10 rebounds. They missed. Matter of fact, we had, let me see, I think it was Maurice Cheeks. I don't know if you remember Roger Fagley.
Uh-huh.
We went to Bradley. He averaged like 27 points. We had like two others, but I couldn't remember that one there. You know what I'm saying? They missed the boat on that, but I made sure they ain't missing the next year.
That's right. I was like, 77 first team, 79 first team, 78 second team. Hey, but you made sure that they got it right tonight.
I made sure 22 and 11.
That's right.
Oh, my man Stan Jenkins, and we grew up together, and I see him every summer too. For the boys yesterday, great brother. And like I said, these guys that I know from back in the day, we still stay connected. That's a blessing because the saying goes, the older you get, the smaller your circle will become. Hey. Well, my circle hasn't even become, small, because it's filled with good people.
That's right. Man, shout out to all the people that's on the check-in. We appreciate you checking in, showing my guy Cheese some love, as we should, because this is his night. We are honoring him tonight, man. We are definitely honoring him tonight.
And thank you, Pooh, for having me. That's what's up.
Man. Well deserved, brother. Well deserved. You led your team in scoring 3 to 4 years. Who are some of the guys that you played with, right? And what made that so special playing with those guys throughout those years?
Okay, the best out the gate, it had to be. I have some good guys, but the standout was Bob Elmore and Calvin Bruton and Steve Kosinski. He live in Wichita now. We had Mike Denny. We had Ray Shirley. He was here too. Ronnie Ryer was here. Doug Yoder, which is a doctor now, and then we had a couple of Dave Prisvilo, which was assistant general manager for the Miami Heat with Pat Riley, because he's from Schenectady, New York. We have a lot of good guys. We had good guys, and the one after that year, I went back to New York and I worked out with Tiny Archibald. That was the first time I ever ran with combat boots on. I thought I was in shape. I came back here, I started throwing up because I wasn't in that good of a shape that I thought I was, but Tiny's my guy, also he's one of my mentors and is a guy that I really, really look up to. And he's one of the all-time greats to play in the NBA, that leads in scoring and assists. I don't think that record would ever be broken. Not the 34 points and 12 assists a game. That's just hard, to do to these days, But that was my man, Mr. T.
That's right, New York City icon, basketball icon in general. Let's talk about that real quick, man, because I think that's important. It's a great segue into mentoring and why that's so important to you, and who are some of the other people who kind of mentored you along the way?
Okay, so Tiny was the main one because he played in the league and stuff but I had a lot of good older guys, like that was part of the Cavaliers. You had Stan, you had David, because like I said, I played with the older guys when I was young. I had my man Ernest. He the captain of Harren, you know what I mean? So I also have my man the guys I play with, Tom Lyden and Jughead and Timmy and Johnny and my man Glenn used to always come to the game, with us, and Gums, everybody, you chipped in, because like I say, it take more than one to raise, a good person. And all these guys around me was great. And that was Tiny was my mentor, per se, because like I say, he accomplished, so much as an undersized guard, so he was the one, that showed me the way and made everything like it's possible. So that's how that went.
For those of you who never got a chance to check out Tiny Archibald in the interview, check him out on NYC Basketball History, my sit down with the legendary, iconic Nate Tiny Archibald. Great, great, great human being, man. Great, great time. Well, now you started to mentor you started your own mentor program, and was it because some of the people who mentored you felt like you could help the next generation?
Right. So how that program got started, when I came back from New York, I was watching, the Shockers practice. So as I was going outside, I felt something in my chest, which wasn't right, So I went to, my adopted mother's house and told her I wasn't feeling well. So she said, let's go to the hospital. So long story short, what happened, I had like clogged arteries. And so I had to have, surgery. So as I was in the hospital for that week, things just start dancing through your head. And I said, what can I do to give back and show my gratitude to to people in life. And I said the best thing I could do is try to get to the youth. And that's what I did when I came out. And, I don't want to mention the name, but it was two individual, husband and wife, that really, got this thing, the ball rolling. So my program consists of 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th graders. It's like a entrepreneurial educational program. It's nothing to do with sports. I throw that out of the way because, like I said, sports is a short window, and education and learning trades is best, for these kids. So all the kids that's in my program, their grade point average have went up so high because to be in my program, I don't pick the kids. You have the teachers and principals that pick the kids to be in the program because you have to maintain a 2.5 GPA. But if you have kids that really like a 1.8, but they're really trying to do better, those are the kids that we focus on. And it has been a successful rate. I have like parents and teachers come to me and say, Mr. Johnson, I don't know what you did, because I hold all the kids in the program accountable for the work that I asked them to do. They have like Monday, they have to go through all their core classes, and then they have to report when I go to the classes what kind of math they study, what kind of science they study. All this is academic. And like we take them to trade schools, because, like college is not for everyone, but
Right.
we take them to see so they could see different avenues of trade, because if you don't know, you don't know. So that's why we try to give these kids exposures. It's girls and boys. And like I said, the last 4 years, it's been a blessing. Anytime you have a blessing and kids come back to you, the parents, and say thank you. That's all. I done did my job. To say that. Like I said, we've been on the Today Show, the CBS Morning Show, so it got good coverage because people like the model that we have for the kids. We teach them a lot of stuff. It's not that everybody just can't get in it. This is not like not knocking the Boys and Girls Club, but this is like totally different because that's where your resources come in. So we go on a field trip like once a month, and we go to different businesses. So we go behind the scene. So we from the maintenance man to the CEO, these kids learn because, today's kids, they think everything just come, with no work put in. Whatever
That's
you
right.
put in, that's what you're going to get out. So that's our main focus, for the kids. Like I said, the kids that graduate, they say like in the 7th grade, they come back and help the new younger kids to see the vision that we try to present, for the program.
Nah, that's awesome, man. Awesome. Marie London said, what's up, Cheese? Cavalier for life, Tom London.
Oh, that's my man, Tom. I missed him this summer. I spoke to him the other day. He living in Portland. He woke up early to give me a call. That's my guy there, Tom. You know what I mean? Him and his family. Like I said, I have great guys. So thank you, Tom. Thank everybody. Thank you.
No doubt. Now, you said your senior year, you had something to prove because they left you off the first team. Your junior year, and you averaged 22 points a game, 11 rebounds. At that moment, when you accomplished that and you reached first team all conference again, did you realize then that you could play in the NBA?
Yeah, well, I realized I had that dream because, like I say, I played against the best now and stood my ground too. So they had like with the top 20 seniors. My man, the barbershop. My man, DP.
Yeah, he did.
So they had this. I don't know if you're familiar. It's called the Pizza Hut Classic, where the top 20 seniors play, and myself, Magic played, Gary Houston played, Vinny played, Jeff Houston played, we had a bunch of guys, but you had to be a top senior in that class, to play in that tournament there. So coming out of college, I said, I know I could play because, you got to have confidence whatever you do in life.
That's right.
If you don't have confidence whatever you do, if you're going for a job, you got to have confidence that you're going to try to get that job. So that was my thing when I went out there. And like I say, that Hello Classic, and I saw Tiny, he was in the book, he averaged like 41 in 3 days. I was like, whoa. I said, let me try to. So I wound up averaging 20, but you know what I'm saying? So, that was a great thing. And I knew I could play anyway. But, sometimes you can play, but it's not up to you.
The politics of the NBA is so different. I tell kids this all the time. You could be one of the greatest scorers. You can do well in summer league, and they sometimes they bypass you, or they already have your skill set that they
exactly. And that's how I go, because when I was at Golden State, they had was playing where I was playing. I don't know if you're familiar, Sonny Parker.
No.
Okay, he was like their 5th pick the year before.
Wow.
And I was killing him, but he had a guaranteed contract, and they couldn't look crazy in terms of letting him go and keep me. But like you say, it's a bunch of politics in there, But like I said, life don't stop, through sports. If you that type of person, because if you think something will stop, what you gonna do in life in terms of the peaks and valleys. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to make that adjustment, because if I was sour about that, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair right now.
Listen,
life just goes on.
Sooner or later, everybody knows the game will be over. Sooner or later, game over. What you gonna do after that?
Right.
When you can't do with that ball no more, when that ball start bouncing, when that ball don't bounce no more, right? And they got this dinner and it don't bounce no more. It ain't gonna bounce no more.
Right.
Like, what you gonna do after that? And
right.
That's another thing we like to talk about on Basketball Heads, right? And we talk about those transitions, right? When, of course, when you hear your name called 3rd round, it's a dream of a lifetime. Every kid. Listen, if I never made the NBA and I got drafted, my name was called, whatever the case, if I would have just got to play one game,
right,
I would wear that as a badge of honor, because that's what a lot of us look up to as kids and dream about.
And
right?
It's funny that you mentioned that, because Subway into my program. These kids now, they go on the internet and look now. So they see that, I played here with Golden State, and that's my avenue, to get closer, because it's something that they could relate
Especially
to.
They winning now, and just Steph Curry, right? that's all you need. That's it. That's the ticket, baby. That's the ticket right there. I had a kid tell me today, he wanted to know, what you do, why everybody always talk about you in basketball. So, I'll show him my YouTube page, show him me being on the news and my podcast. And the first thing he said to me is, you didn't make it to the NBA. I was like, yo, can't win. Can't win.
And these kids is funny. But like I said, but he knew, or they knew that you played.
Yeah, that's right. He was just poking me a little bit, but hey, look, it means a lot to them knowing that you played, right?
It's something that you can relate to. They can
right.
relate to, you know what I'm saying, which is important these days, because if you're looking around the country, kids is getting young and young in terms of committing crimes and stuff like that. So if you get a bunch of kids that's really, want to learn and listen to you, that's half the battle right there. So, that's a blessing. We're all here for a purpose and a reason, and that's what it is, to give back.
You had such a great career, right? Now, a kid have that now, that what you average, they'll be in the league, 1st round, contract, guaranteed, everything. You played in a different era with so many great players. What was the difference between playing in college, where you played, and then playing in the NBA? What was the difference that you saw?
Okay, the NBA is a lot stronger, and it's a lot faster. than college. And you had to make that, adjustment. It's funny that you said that. My numbers today, you might not even get drafted. But, because I looked at guys average 9 points, 11 points, 10 points, 7 points. Talking about they base their draft on potential. Like my man Xavier said, a baby got potential. He said a baby, which is true, but that's how they do. Because if you look at the draft, you see guys like average 10 points, 9 points, 6 points. But back in the day, you had to get numbers. The game has changed. It changed to like corporate right now.
And a lot of those middle tier players are sticking around. Right. Look at, let's be honest. Steph Curry wasn't a highly ranked player.
No.
We learned about him in the NCAA tournament.
No.
Damian Lillard wasn't a highly ranked player. Right. And so many others, these guys wasn't highly ranked.
Right.
And they get to the league and they stick and they become superstars.
Right. And they got that, the whole thing, they got that chance. But if you mess around, you could be nice, but if you get drafted by the wrong team.
Yeah, that's true. I appreciate you, Harry. Thanks a lot. It's a great show, brother. Very informative. Proud of you both. You guys, Cheese is a real stand-up brother. Thanks. That's giving back. Proud to have you. The pleasure of knowing you. Appreciate you, Harry.
My man Harry, yeah.
Yes. Lionel Williams. It's international now. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. That's right.
Hey, thank you. There you go.
I appreciate that. So, thank you for giving that information because, kids got to understand it's not easy to make it to the league no matter what era that you're in, right?
Exactly.
No matter what era, right?
Exactly.
So, now let's talk about something you mentioned before, right? The confidence. When you have made the transition out of the NBA, did it hurt your confidence? Well,
it bothered me because anytime you know that you're better than the next, like I said, when I was on Golden State, John Lucas was there, and that was one of my mentors to him, Robert Parrish, and God bless him, Jojo White. So they all knew what I could do, but like I said, the dominoes didn't fit. So I was kind of upset, about that, but. By me being upset, that's not curing anything. You have to keep going, because like I said again, life don't stop, at a sport. As long as you gave it your best effort, that's all you give it your best, whatever it is, not only sports in life. So long as you know that you did the best, you could live with that.
Yep. No, that's real. I think a lot of people don't understand the obstacles that you go through in that situation, but you got to stand tall and know that life continues in other places.
Yeah, whether you like it or not.
That's right.
You know what I mean? What you gonna do when it's time to pay the bill? What you say? I used to play. Yeah.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Mike Barnes said, "Can you ask Cheese to talk about Alex Eldridge, who played for Taft with Tony Price during the early mid-'70s. RIP to Alex Eldridge.
Hey, man.
Who was extremely nice.
Alex Eldridge, Boobie, him, Derek Claiborne, and Tony Price. Matter of fact, we all got together in the summer and played with each other. And we used to rock and roll. But, Boobie and Derek, they had the best chemistry. And then Tony, like I said, I speak to him to this day also. He was the big guy. He wound up graduating from Penn, and Boobie and Derek went to, God bless him, they went to UMass. My man Mike Pye and Brad Johnson, also. Boobie was nice. Matter of fact, I think he was like, he didn't get the recognition that he needed, but he was nice. He used to tear Clinton up. I tell you, when they had Butch in them, that gym be packed. I even went to see them play one time.
Wow, nice.
And Derek, they play good, but them my guys from the Bronx. My
No
Bronx
doubt.
guys, yeah. But like I say, in the summertime, we know talent. So talent, just started playing with each other. Arnold Duggar, he was tough too from the Bronx. It was a great, like I said, Steve Shepard Bear, my man Blah, my man Gilly. Gilly used to beat everybody up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we had Steve Bear on the show as well.
Yeah,
Definitely had
I told him I was gonna be on tonight.
yeah,
He was a good guy to this day. To this day.
yeah.
So
What was your transition back into the real world after your basketball career was over? Like, what was that transition like?
okay, so after that I went back to and like I said again, it's your resources. So I went back to it was called Park West, which is Harren. So I went back there and I was a phys ed teacher, back there, and luckily that the teachers remember me, and I wasn't one of them troublemaking kids. So when they know what I went through in terms of college and playing back, so they said I think you'd be a good fit because not only you can be a phys ed teacher, you could give these kids the insight about life,
That's right.
and that's what I wind up doing after I came back, and then after that I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and that's when I started working with my man Rick Burton. He got me the job, and which turned out to be Whole Foods. So I worked for them for about 18 years as a produce manager. So again, to be a manager, you have to have a little bit of people skills. You have to know how to deal with people, and that's what sports, taught me. How to deal with others, other than yourself. Because, like I said, in society today, you have to know how to, interact with people. That's just how it goes. Yeah, this world ain't by itself, and it's not all about you.
That's right. And again, it's not about who you know, it's about who know you.
Exactly.
You can know a lot of people and people won't do anything for you, but if
Oh,
somebody know you
right.
and they always got something good to say about you, they're
Right.
always willing to lend you a helping hand.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Nah, no doubt, no doubt. All right. So if you could change one thing about your career, what would it be and why?
If I could change one thing about it, I would play more in the backcourt, even though I did a lot of ball handling and Wichita, but I did that was the only thing I would change because my size. That size make a difference coming out in the backcourt. Just like Sam Worthington, he was 6'6" point guard.
Yeah,
Magic 6'9" point guard.
yeah.
When we went to go play Michigan State, they had in the guy Johnson versus Johnson. I said, "Who's this?" You know what I'm saying? So that was the year they took it, though.
Right.
So he got on that court. He was pushing that ball. I said, "Okay." That's the only time in my playing career where I scored 20 points, and after the game, I had to go to a hotel and let's lay down because they had like 5 pros on that Michigan State team.
Yeah.
And my man, God bless him, he passed away. Ron Charles, he was the starting center, and that was the hardest. And they played zone. They had 6'9", 6'4". They had Jay Vincent in the middle. He was a hacker. Then they had Magic in the back. Then they had Greg Kelter. He was a high flyer back then too. So that was the hardest 20 points I ever scored.
Wow. My God, Boyhead Buchanan says sports definitely shaped you to do what you really are put here to do. Salute.
Right. He right about that. Even though it don't look like it, you know what I'm saying?
Rick Burns said the owner of Whole Foods was amazed that Cheese was a pro player. He played him the ball with him. His name was Harry.
That's right, Harry. Yeah. Harry used to look out for us too, boy.
Man.
So that's my man Rick. We go back, a long time. I'm close to his family, and he's definitely close to mine. You know what I mean? If I was feeling good, that's where I would have been staying with when I was just up in New York.
No doubt. Ayatollah Beats, Putel Cheese. I said, "What's up?" Ayatollah Beats is a super producer. He's the #1 basketball head, always on every show. I have 3 podcasts, and he's always on all 3 showing support. And he's from New York, but he lives in Portland, Oregon. Said Lionel Williams said, "Don't forget your boy Berkovich."
Oh. No, he you know what he meant? The other one, he was one of the hardest guards. I don't know, you remember Drazen Petrovic?
Oh, Petrovic. Yes.
Yo, hey, they said, geez, that's the one. So we had the dinner. He had these goofy glasses on. I said, that dude, man, I think like had 45 points. He didn't even play the 4th quarter.
Wow.
The brother was the point for the Yugoslavian team. I said, yo, when he came to America, I told him, I said, watch this guy here.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you ready to have some fun?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we're going to get into the top 5, all right?
Uh-oh.
All right. Everybody, we're going to have some fun with the top 5. Y'all can put y'all top 5s in the chat, however y'all want to do it. But you only get 5, Cheese. Can't bring nobody off the bench. All right? You ready? All right.
Top 5. Top 5.
All right. Top 5 guys you played against.
Okay. Bird, Magic, Petrovic, Mike Glenn, Xavier a little bit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
You only got 5. That's it.
Damn, I can't go no further.
Nope. That's it. That's it. I told him he already got his tech. He was about to bringing somebody off the bench. We're not doing that, Cheese. We're not doing that, Cheese. All right. Top 5 guys you played with. Time to get you in trouble, brother. Because somebody's going to say, you didn't pick me.
Right. Well, Ernest, it had to be Ernest Ivory. Bob Elmore. Calvin Bruton.
That's 3.
Top 5. Let me see. Bill Willoughby.
4.
Yeah.
One more.
And Steve Shepard.
Man, yo, he is breezing through this, man. This is usually the hardest part of the show. It's Cheese, man.
I got a lot more, but you say 5.
Only 5. That's it. All right. Top 5 players in New York City history, according to Cheese Johnson. Okay,
it has to be my number one is Tiny Archibald. You have Tiny Archibald, you have Dr. J, you have Connie Hawkins, because some guys actually try to play like, I like my man Pearl Washington.
Woo! Got a Brooklyn guy there. Pearl
yeah, Pearl Washington.
And y'all wore the same number, right? 31, right?
Yeah.
Come on, man. You know I do my homework, brother.
Joe Hammond.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. All right. That's good. All right. I want to go through something real quick. Let me see here. What was going on in this picture, brother? You see it?
I didn't see me and you.
Okay, you don't see you on the screen? I'm sharing something on the screen right now.
Well, it looked like it's trying to come through.
Is you catching a block shot? It's on your page.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I think I caught it too.
Yeah, okay.
And that's my man Bob Elmore right there. Looking. Matter of fact, we was playing Southern Illinois.
Got you.
Mike Glenn school, and they had some high. Man, they had a drill when they go back in the locker room. The whole team had to touch the top of the square.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. The country boys had the socks up to their knees.
Right.
In canvas cons.
Yo, I made Lincoln in canvas Converses, brother.
Hey, I had different colors and everything.
Listen, those are the sneakers right there, brother. Those are the sneakers right there. Look. What was happening in this picture right here, brother?
I was giving my man something I did. I think it was a nice pass, and I was giving somebody a pass because they finished it on the layup.
And there's that smile right there.
You know what I'm saying?
There's that smile. Well, listen, man. I had fun, man, chopping it up with you, brother. I love getting those texts from you, man, and let's stay in contact, man.
Oh, no question.
Listen, brother, you've changed so many lives. You entertain so many people. So many people love you and look up to you, and we cherish you here in New York, brother.
Man.
We cherish you here in New York, and we want to let you know, man, you one of our greatest legends, man, and we appreciate you, and we want to say thank you, brother. Thank you.
I appreciate you and everybody else in New York City and all my fans and friends in Wichita, Kansas. Thank you.
No doubt, no doubt.
Country, really, and Wichita. Because they coming, boy. I can't leave nobody out.
That's right. That's right.
Ryan, I don't know where Ryan went.
Yo, Ryan, appreciate you for hooking up my guy Cheese, man.
Yeah, come on, Ryan.
Yeah. Yo, my guy Ryan helped Cheese out. Ryan, appreciate you, brother. Hey, listen, Ryan. Listen, get back on the screen real quick. Listen, we got some ballers here in New York, right?
I got you.
To come up to New York City, holla at me, and I'll point into all the best players.
We need the next Cheese Johnson.
All right? No, for real. We got some ballers up here, man. So we don't want you guys to miss out. We need another Cheese Johnson down there, man.
Appreciate it.
Hey, Cheese, man. Appreciate you, brother.
I'm going to stay in contact.
No doubt. Same here.
Love, man. Love. Like my man Derek Cheever said, love.
That's right. He watches.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah. All right, brother.
I appreciate you again.
No doubt. Wow. Look at that, man. Another great show from another legend. Cheese Johnson, straight from Harlem. Started out great, ended up great, right? He had a chance to go to other high schools, but he wanted to go to Harren High School. His parents wanted to make sure he stay out of trouble and do the right thing. Got his grades right, became one of the top 15 players in the country, went to Wichita State University, became a legend out there. He's a legend in 2 states and known around the country. Listen, you can do it. No matter what you want to do, what you put your mind to, you can become great. And remember, don't measure your success by what somebody else say. Set your own goals. Set your own parameters. Have the confidence to be great. Because if you don't say you're great, who's going to say you're great? Don't wait for somebody else to do it. Have the confidence to do it on your own. And that's what Cheese said. He had the confidence. No matter what he was doing on the court or off the court, he had the confidence to be great. And you could be too. So, with saying that, we're about to sign out. I am your host, Glenn Pooh Harding, and you've been watching Basketball Heads Live, the podcast. And for all those new basketball heads, please subscribe, share this, send this out to your friends and family, and let them know we celebrated Lynbert Cheese Johnson tonight. All right? I'm about to get out of here. And as we always say, every show, we are the official home for New York City basketball. Peace.
Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped into the world of chaos. Where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.